Hello, everybody, and welcome to our weekly coaching webinar today. So today we wrap up business finance closing process. I don't know. I'm looking at the head, my first slide. I'm like, that's not what we are talking about, but it'll work. So today we're wrapping up the last of 3 webinars that we've done on selling the finance suite. We went over the first week, the setting up of the sale, the interviewing process. Last week, we went over how to do presentations, how to present, how to do a demo, how to use the resources we've given you to actually do a physical presentation. And today, we go through the final part of it, the closing aspect of the actual process. Now, as we wrap up today, I will show you our actual 8 steps that we take to really close a sale. So we break this up into more than 8 steps, but for your purpose and for learning purposes, just to simplify, it really comes down to doing a proper interview to see if the candidate's a good fit, to see if they have the money and know enough about you to want to buy, doing a proper presentation or serving them with the resource so they understand what they're buying. And then once you've done so, then it's time to move in and for the kill. No, I'm just kidding. You got to move in for the close. You got to try to close that sale. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, how to close the sale, earn the highest commissions when you're actually selling the finance suite. So again, really there's 4 steps to the overall sales process, right? You prospect. You got to get a lead. That's what prospecting is. It's talking to people. It's doing a large part of what you do to get somebody that's interested in the door talking to you. That's getting the lead. Then what we've talked about, doing the interview, then doing the presentation, and then closing the actual sale. So believe it or not, you got to make sure that you ensure that every person that's talking to the customer is actually asking them to buy. It's funny because this is just a fundamental breakdown that most people do not realize. And you may believe it's common sense. You may think my sales team knows exactly what's going on, so of course they're going to close, and they probably suck at asking for the close. Okay, and I used to do this when I would talk to partners and enrolled all of our partners. They would call me and say, look, my sales team's having a hard time selling, and my advice was always the same: listen to their phone call and see if they even asked really for the sale. And if they did do a pretty good job and you can't notice anything they did wrong and they asked for the sale, well, then call me back and let me help. Nobody ever called me back. I got a lot of emails that go, yeah, dude, no need to talk anymore. I listened to the recording. I know what's wrong. So listen to the recording. Are they asking for the sale? Mr. Customer, as you've seen, the Finance Suite's the most comprehensive credit and financial solution in the world today, and absolutely perfect for your business. So, hey, how do you want to get started? Monthly payments or one pay. We'll talk about a lot of ways to ask him to buy. But if you were to visit my website today, you could get started for one payment of $34.95. But since I know this is so perfect for your business, and because I have found that most that are willing to take action quickly get the best and fastest results, I'll help you get started today for only one payment of $24.95. That's almost like a 30% discount. So are you thinking about getting started with one payment or monthly payments? Look, there's a million ways to segue into a close. And let me state at this point that, remember, you should have already done a presentation. If you picked up where we left off in, I think, step 4.2 of the training, or the last week's webinar we did on presenting, then the last thing you said to that customer was, look, it was after the last thing you said in the interview was, based on everything you just told me, the finance suite's a perfect fit for you. Here, let me go ahead and show you how it works, and you're doing a demo, or you send them the resource. Now, the next thing you're doing is moving in for a close. So what we're doing here in this kind of statement is several things. First of all, what we are doing is what is called price anchoring. All psychology studies on this show that the first number somebody hears or sees is what they anchor the next number they hear or see based on. So what that means is, it means you always want to tell somebody a higher number than your sales price before you actually produce what you are selling it to them for. So for example, if you go to our website, on our pricing page, one of the first things it says is that we've helped over 15,000 business owners build business credit. I say 10,000. It's changed now. We're helping a lot more people. The reason we put the number of 15,000 there is because we want 15,000 to be the number that's price anchored before they look at price. Look, I don't know. I don't make the science behind this, but that's what all the studies show. So we're price anchored. We're telling them a higher price before we tell them a lower price, okay? Secondly, we're telling them something I really do believe to be true, and we say that those that are willing to take action quickly get the best and fastest results. You're the one I want. If you're willing to take action and you see this and go, I'm the kind of guy that says, I like this, I want it, I know it'll help me, I'm going to buy it, then our research has shown, and the clients that we've helped have shown, that those are the people that get the best results. So then you're giving them a discount. But if you're going to do this in this kind of sales pitch, you're then going to want to give them an expiration date. Only through Friday I can do this. I don't do this for everybody. It's only valid through Friday. Now, what you've done is create urgency by having an expiration date. You price anchor to higher price as well. And you already kind of said to them, look, I think the people that take action get the best results. You're already setting them up to say, look, you're the kind of guy that's going to get the best results. And now what you're doing is what I call menu selling. Are you thinking about getting started with one payment or monthly payments? I believe very strongly in this. As a matter of fact, of all sales tactics, or whatever you want to call them, tips, tactics that I know, this is probably one of the most effective. What I've learned, and I don't know if I read this in books, but I'm pretty sure this was self-learned, but probably written about in hundreds of books. What I've learned is that when you give people a choice, then it is much easier to close a sale. When you say to somebody, what would you like, choice A or B, then they can choose. And the fact that they have a choice in the matter makes them take more ownership of their decision to enroll. Makes sense, right? You're not saying, okay, do you give me a Visa card to get the $34.95? You're saying, look, what would you rather have, monthly payments or one payment? So first of all, you're giving them a choice, which again, this is why we have multiple enrollment options. We have weekly, monthly, and one pay for every option, because by having a choice, you take ownership of your decision to enroll. The second reason that we do this is because you're going to dig out any objections right here. Okay, one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to say to you, oh, I prefer monthly payment or one payment, or they're going to say, well, wait a minute, I got a question. I got another statement. They're going to start rolling out an objection, but those pretty much only two outcomes here. They're going to choose one or go with an objection. Either way, you win. You know how serious they are if they choose one, or if they have an objection, you know you still have work to do to overcome those objections. So congratulations if you do have objections, because those are buying signals. It means they are interested, okay? The sale is truly closed or lost right here, because this is what is relevant to them. The interesting about life is that we all see life through our own perspective, right? And I think about this all the time. And I was just walking behind, I think, my wife and my daughter the other day, and I thought the same thing. I thought, what's interesting about this scenario right here is that what I'm seeing and what sticks out to me as we take this walk is completely different than my wife and daughter. This is the way everything is in life, right? It's all about perspective. So what it really comes down to here is that this is the part of the sale where you're really speaking to them based on their own individual concerns. You told them about the product, you talked to them about their business, you did all the things on general, and you hopefully know their industry now and know what you could do to help and know those things. But objections are where you really get down to a subjective level and you help answer their personal problems, the problems that they can't get past, the barriers they need broken down in order to buy. Now, there's two main finance suite objections you're going to face. This has been this way since inception. It's still this way today. Affordability and credibility. Those are the two objections you're going to face. One, can somebody even afford what you're selling? Well, you shouldn't be closing a deal if they're not. We spend a lot of time teaching you how to interview, to teach questions like, how much money do you have set aside to grow the business? We have funding programs that are based on your bank account, on your business banking. What's your average bank account balance? But again, one of the easiest that I found is, how much do you have set aside to grow the business? Are they a new business or not? Do they have revenue coming in now? If you have somebody that has bad credit, no revenue, and no money set aside to grow the business, they don't have any money. Stop pitching. Don't even pitch to them, because they don't have credit, which means they don't have high limit credit cards to put it on. They don't have revenue, so that means the business isn't going to pay for it. And again, the other problem is beyond that is that they don't have any money set aside to grow the business, which means they have no savings or reserves. That's not somebody you should ever present to. If you rule these people out before this point, you're not going to even get anybody to a point where you're going to have affordability objections, but it is the main objection you'll face. Second, they don't know you. They don't trust you. Credibility. I see this all the time. When I used to enroll partners directly, this is a conversation. They go, oh man, I need to worry about credibility stuff. My people know me. And then they go to try to sell and go, nobody will buy. Why? I'm like, because I told you, you don't have any credibility in the space. You think because you're credible in one area that people think you're credible in all areas, but that's just not the case. They need to have more assurance that you are knowledgeable in this space that you are. This is why we created a website for you that you could put up in your back office that has a whole credibility page, actual video testimonials, because we understand the importance of this. So credibility, testimonials, articles, press releases, Better Business Bureau. If you're Better Business Bureau and our credit repair service, by the way, I added this for a reason, because a lot of our clients are credit repair companies, our partners. If that's the case, just so you know, the BBB may give you a failing grade. It's only because they have you down as an advanced fee company. If you solicit them and say you're not advanced fee, it will move you right from F to A. That's what happened to me. So I added that little point. So the bottom line is what do you have that's credible? Book and radio show. Now, if you're using the Premier Partner and sending the leads to us and letting us do the work, we have you covered here, obviously, right? Because we have a pristine reputation, and that reputation helps you close the sale. But if you're closing the sale on your own, then you're going to need to start working on building good reviews. And we have SoTellUs, where, again, if you can go back to our previous webinars, SoTellUs gave you guys a really good deal to be able to get set up with them, and they're who we use for reviews. So it's a great place that makes it easy to get reviews, but you need to start building your online reputation, okay, because it becomes very important to making the sale. And again, the website we've given you with testimonials and a lot of other credibility points can definitely help with that. So make sure that when you're closing, you keep your good ammunition until the end. So what I'm saying is don't lay out all the features and benefits before closing. Save the best for last to close the sale. The guarantee, okay? We guarantee, well, I don't really talk about this much, but we guarantee that you'll get $50,000 in funding from the finance suite within 12 months, or we'll work with you until you do. I don't promote that guarantee very much because we found that when partners promote it, the problem is that customers come in thinking they're going to get a $50,000 credit line, and then we have to tell them they're not, and then they get upset, and the partners get upset, and it's a mess. So we don't even usually talk about guarantees, but if you have one, then mention it here, okay? We have a guarantee. If you have a guarantee, offer it. Payments. Okay, what payment options are you offering? You might not even want to talk about payment options until you get ready to close the sale. Funding advisors for 5 years. Now they get the funding advisors indefinitely. Okay, we'll work with them as long as they have the business and they actually need funding. No personal guarantee on the money. So the idea here is that you don't want to tell them everything in the presentation, because then when you get to close, you don't get to kind of use those points as other added benefits of reasons that they should buy. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. I'll give you real examples of how this should work. But the idea here is to save, as Jordan Belfort says, keep your powder dry, keep some good ammunition back in reserves. So then that way, when you have objections, you can still roll out some features and benefits they don't know about to push them over the edge and get them to buy. So creating urgency, remember, introduce an expiring price point. We talked about that. Look, I'm going to give you this discount if you do it today, if you do it by Friday, for example. Possibly introduce payment options. Give them a time that expires. Look, I don't usually offer payments, but I'm going to offer you payments, but this only is good if you're interested in enrolling by Friday. So again, creating urgency gets people to buy, gets them to buy now. If you don't create urgency, then everybody's going to say, I'll get to this when I get to it, and they never will. So affordability and credibility are the two main objections you're going to face. So offer them weekly payment option, okay? And here's why. It sounds lower, right? If I say to you something is $600 a month, you immediately, whether you like it or not, start mentally spending $600. You start thinking about other stuff you're going to buy for $600, or you could buy, and then you start comparing like what that may do for you compared to what this may do for you. Like you're in la la land spending $600 a month right now. But if I say to you it's $150 a week, well then it almost brings about a no big deal. $150, I got $150. When you chunk it down to $150 a week, it sounds so small that immediately people are like, I got $150. They don't start thinking of $600. They start thinking of, I have $150. Like that's no big deal. So just even offering them weekly payments, as you'll see we do on our website, brings that down and makes it seem like it's more affordable. Remember, upon your interview, you already asked them about money in their bank account. You already know about available credit cards. Remember, in the interview, you already asked them the revenue they generate, how much money they have set aside to grow the business, the quality of their credit. You already know what you're looking at. If you know that their credit's bad, you know the highest limit credit card they have is probably $500. They ain't going to buy this on credit cards. So again, by answering those questions, you know what kind of money you're potentially playing with here. So it makes it easy for you to talk about this. Now, one thing I always say to people is, look, do not enroll because of money. Don't do it. Do not. The question right now is, does this make sense to you? Do you see how it can impact your life? Is it something that you want? If the answer is yes, we'll work with you. I can help you get funding to pay for your enrollment. We can work with you on affordable payments. We will customize a payment plan for you. Those are my words. We will customize a payment plan for you. What does that mean? Will you do this? Call me. We'll talk. And then we get them on the phone and we see if what they can do works with what we can do for them. Is it reasonable or not? If it's not reasonable, then we tell them we can't help them. We send them free info. So again, I think that makes a bunch of sense, and it's easier when you know how much money they actually have. So the 3 must of closing sales. So answer 3 objections using what we call the 3 10s looping philosophy. Okay, 10 for you, 10 for your company, 10 for the finance suite. Here's the idea. Here's the concept. And these training comes from a lot of different people, including Jordan Belfort. He's got a system called straight line selling, which we still mandate. Everybody that talks to a customer goes through, not even just salespeople, because it's so brilliant. And one of the things he talks on, which I believe strongly in, is that somebody's only going to buy if they have a level 10, 0 to 10, with 10 being the highest confidence in you, your company, and the finance suite. So if they're not going to buy, they typically aren't going to tell you this. They're not going to say, look, man, I love you, but your company sucks. They're not going to tell you, look, I love the product, but like, dude, I don't think I can trust you. Like, they're not going to do that because we're not conditioned to say those things, right? Like, as humans, we're not conditioned to tell you that the true objection is that, like, I think you're shady. I don't know enough about you. I don't trust you. Because that's a really insulting thing to be told you don't trust, that somebody doesn't trust you. So what happens is people don't tell you what their objection is. The problem here is that you don't know what it is. You can't overcome it. So the idea with the 3 10s is that they have to have a level 10 confidence in you, the product, and your company. If you get them to level 10 in all 3 of those, then they're going to buy. If you're not at level 10 with all 3, then they're not going to buy. Now, they could be at level 10 and out of level 10 within seconds, back and forth. So your goal is to get them all to a confidence level of 10 in you, the company, and the product. Then you can close. Until you do this, you cannot close effectively. So most of the best sales points you'll make will be made right here. If you get to 10 with all 3, then in that moment you can close. And that moment may literally last seconds. But in that moment, the minute you've gained their confidence across all 3, only in that moment can you really close. So the client has to love your product. They must feel that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. They must feel that it truly can help them reach their goals. They need to know that it empowers them. They need to know and feel that it's easy for them to use. They must feel that it can deliver them their expected results. Look, bottom line, they have to look at it and go, wow, this can solve my problem. We've talked about interviews. We've talked about presentations. We've talked about digging out the problem and then talking about what their life is going to look like when it's solved. Are they convinced at this point that the product will actually solve their problem? That's it, bottom line. I got like 8 bullets here. Doesn't matter. 1 bullet, really simple. Are they convinced that the product will actually solve the problem? Will it relieve the pain that they are experiencing? Okay. They've also got to love you. The client has to love you. They got to trust you. You have to have rapport with them. They must feel that you care about them. They want to feel that you're just like them. They need to feel that you have their best interest at heart, not that you're just trying to make a sale. Okay. So again, just like them doesn't mean you like football, they like football. What just like them means you're an entrepreneur, they're an entrepreneur. You have something that can empower them and you guys have something in common. That's what it means. Okay. It's not about trying to get into the common ground because you like frogs and they like frogs, right? It's about the fact that they see you as an authority. They know that you know what you're doing, right? We talk about this on the interview. Do they believe that you're sharp as a tack? Do they know that you're a powerhouse, that you're an authority? Do they know that feel like you know what you're talking about? Those things are trust. Those things are rapport. These things that were built in the initial interview, okay? Do you care? How do they know you care? Because you ask questions. We've all been into something where there was something we wanted to buy and somebody just started pitching us before they ever even asked questions to see if it was a good fit for us or not. And we know those people are shady because they're trying to slam us into something without knowing it's a good fit. So we want to make sure if we've asked questions in the interview correctly, then they do know you care because you're asking them those type of questions. And that's what makes them think that they have their best interest at heart, right? If I'm talking to them if you go back to the interview, if I'm saying, well, why do you want this? Well, why do you want it? Why? To get down to the fact that their real why is that they want to spend money with their, or they want to spend more time with their family. Well, then if I'm speaking to that during the presentation, then they know that I have their real interest at heart. I understand what they're really trying to accomplish at a level most don't. They relate to that and they have rapport with me as a result. They love your company. The client has to love your company. They need to trust your company. They must see your company's credible and have a good reputation. They need to feel that your company has the best interest at heart. They need to feel that the company isn't money hungry, but legitimately trying to help them. I had one of the, I hate to say it, but it literally is the stupidest objections I have ever faced before, ever addressed at a webinar. And here's what it was. They said, you have a customer that you have a testimonial on your website, which by the way, we have, I don't know, 70, we have over 100 case studies, et cetera, testimonials. So we have a lot. And she said, that customer's company has a complaint on Ripoff Report. Why should I trust you? And I'm like, so to clarify, one of the people that's given us a testimony, a customer of ours, has a mark against them and you're holding that against us. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard before, right? Like, think about all the products you buy, right? That's like saying that you're judging me because you bought an Apple computer. I mean, the whole thing, I can't even logically give you an analogy of that. It's just so ridiculous. But what it comes down to is the fact that they have a problem with what they found online with that company's reputation. Does your company have a good reputation or a bad reputation? Let me teach you how to do it. Go to SoTellUs. Okay, if you go to the webinar on SoTellUs and get the discount where you don't have to pay their upfront fee and all that stuff, well, then you can start driving everybody to SoTellUs to leave reviews. SoTellUs pushes them to Google to leave reviews, etc. Okay, then you start building a bunch of reviews you can put on your website everywhere. Use the testimonials that we give you. Use the credibility page we give you on your website. Those type of things will help build your reputation. Look, if your company is seen as reputable, they know, like, and trust you, and they know the product will help them, then they're going to buy. But if there's any doubt of any of those three things at any given point in time, they're not going to buy. Objections mean they have a doubt in one of those three areas. They don't either trust you, the product, or they don't trust your company. You've got to figure out which of those three it is. So there's also limiting buying beliefs as well. Everyone you speak with has these. Okay, you do too. These are created from bad perceptions and experiences they had in the past. Everyone's made a purchase they regretted. When they buy, now they think back all those past experiences. This stems up all the way back to caveman days, okay? So what happens here is prospects are running an internal dialogue in their heads about all the bad stuff that can happen if they buy. You're trying to sell them on the reasons they should, and in their mind, they're like, oh man, what's going to happen? What if I make a bad decision? What if I buy this thing and it doesn't work? What if I buy it and get ripped off? What if I buy it and this guy I never hear from this guy again? What if I spend, $700 and I go home and then my wife bites my head off because that $700 could have been used for our marketing? This is what's going on in their head. It's a whole film. It's a whole movie going on of all the bad crap that's going to happen to them when they buy. And that's what's really going on. You have to know that that's going on, and it's created by what are called limiting buying beliefs, which are established because of all the times we got ripped off, all the times we bought crap that didn't work, all the times we bought stuff from unscrupulous people and never got our money back. Though those horrors come in play when we're buying stuff, especially when we're buying expensive stuff. What will my spouse say if it fails? Will I look like a fool if it doesn't work out? Is this a safe transaction? What do I stand to lose? How embarrassed will it be in front of my partners and team if I make a bad choice? What if I pay thousands and get nothing? This is the movie that's going on in their head. Can I really afford this? Okay. You must control that internal dialogue to make the sale. You won't know exactly what their beliefs are or what their internal communication, what film it is they're running in your head. You ain't going to know it. So you're going to have to ask some questions to figure it out. You got to basically come in, and to overcome those, you need to create an airtight emotional case and logical case. So look, we all buy things and make decisions emotionally, and then we justify them logically. That's the science, what all the science shows, that we buy emotionally and then we logically try to justify that. But you've got to make it airtight in both of those scenarios. Customers have to feel that they're making a great decision. They must feel that they have more to lose by not buying than they do by buying. Limiting borrow beliefs are caused by bad past experiences, been burned before, cost, afraid to make a bad decision. Look, one of the easiest ways to overcome these is tell them, I've made really bad decisions before, and it made me look like a fool. I'm sure you have too. So you may be wondering, hey, look, is this the right decision for you? When you can address a limiting buying belief like that they're not even voicing, then they're like, yeah, dude, you're like a mind reader. You know exactly what I'm thinking right now. And imagine how easy it would be if they just told you, look, here's the deal, man. I got screwed over before. I'm not sure if it's going to work for me. But a lot of people don't do that. I can tell you because I have salesmen that hang up because they absolutely freak out when I tell them my real objection. I say, look, I love the product. Here's what I love. Here's what my concern is. And salesmen get so freaked out that I actually tell them legitimately exactly what my objection is. It's not uncommon for them to literally hang up. Like they get scared of me and hang up. I'm like, that's the weirdest thing ever. I just told you exactly what my real objection was, because most people do not do this. So tonality is vital, just as we talked about in the interview. Proper tonality is essential to closing the sale because your tone must reflect that you care. So some important tonalities to remember are scarcity, secret. Remember, when you're a little bit more quiet, it gets them to lean in. Certainty, be clear. Hey, I know this will work for you. Be certain in your tonality. Okay, disarming. Hey, look, no big deal. No big deal. What's your credit score? No big deal. Look, talk to me. What's really on your mind? No big deal. I mean, maybe this isn't a good fit for you. I don't know. That's a disarming, no big deal tone. Okay, another tonality that you can use to help you actually make the sale. So make sure from the beginning you're using similar wording and tonality as they are. That's called pacing. Okay, so I have this problem, as you might imagine, making sales. My mind works very fast. My voice tries to keep up. And so when I have especially people that are slow on the phone, especially older people, whoa, it throws me off big time because they're speaking at a tone that's maybe a fifth of what mine is. So the very first thing in most circumstances I have to do is I have to slow myself really down. And I have to be quiet like they are. And I have to pace and do exactly what they're doing and come down to the level that they are and actually pace them. Now, gradually, I'm going to lead them up into where I am. I'm not going to stay where they are because I can't live in their world and speak quietly. Can you imagine me speaking quietly and slowly? Like that's unbearable for me. So eventually I have to kind of start to raise my voice a little bit, and then I start to pick up my speed a little bit. So I pace their speed, their tonality, then I'm leading them to where mine naturally is. I'm matching their tone and pacing them. And then you can also mirror their actions and word too. A lot of the psychology behind this. If you're sitting in front of them, if they cross their legs, and wait a few seconds and cross your legs. Okay. Again, this is all of the things that show that people feel like they're in rapport with you if these kind of things are happening. If you're matching, if you're talking up along the same speed, you're talking along the same pace, you're matching with similar actions or similar hand gestures and things like that they are. So overcoming objections. I hear what you're saying, but let me ask you a question. Okay, first of all, that's one of the best negotiating tactics you're ever going to learn. Actually really relate and hear what they say. Shut up and listen. And when they actually say something, then rephrase it back to them. So it sounds to me like that what you're saying is that you're not sure if this is going to be able to work to get you the money you need. Is that right? When you paraphrase what somebody says, you're going to be like, yeah, dude, that's exactly right. It's one of the simplest, most basic, effective tools I've ever seen. Shut up, listen, and then to prove you're listening, either recite it back or recite back part of what they said. And they're extremely impressed. And then it creates more rapport. They know there's more engagement. And then you have them to say, but let me ask you a question. Does the idea make sense to you? Do you like the idea? Do you like the idea of what I showed you? Does the concept of getting business credit so you can get the most money for the best terms of your business, do you like that idea? Does that idea make sense to you? Yeah, I like the idea. Exactly. So let me say this. Okay, the true beauty of the finance suite is X. Okay, this is where you would lead with some ammunition that you didn't have before. The true beauty of the finance suite is that all the business credit you're able to get without the guarantee. That means you're not personally liable for any of this debt. That means if anything happens in the business, anything happens in the credit card, anything happens you can't pay it, your personal finances are safe and secure. Remember you told me that you were doing all this for your family? Then don't put your family in harm's way to do it. This gives you a way to keep them safe and to still get what you want. So now you're saying the true beauty of the finance suite is X benefit, hopefully a benefit you haven't already recited to them. Present facts about you, your company, and the product. Remember, the way that this looping to overcome objections works quite simply is this. They've got an objection about you, the company, or the product. You don't know which one. So every time you overcome an objection, you answer a question, overcome an objection, you kind of need to tell them one more strength or one point about you, the company, and the product to be able to bring them back hopefully to a 10 on that level. And I'll show you how this works here in a few minutes. Then ask for the sale again, okay? So make a metaphor that the prospect has to say yes to. If we met 6 months ago and you'd already received $50,000 of funding or credit, would you be saying, let me think about it? Would you be saying, would you have the same fear that you wouldn't think this would work for you? Okay. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have that fear if I met you 6 months ago. Exactly. But let's cut to the heart of the matter. You don't know and trust me. So let me address that. You don't know me enough to know that what I'm telling you is actually really going to happen. Then next, tell them credible things about you so they get to a 10 level for you. So this has to happen. You have to answer the question objection, and then come back and start talking to them about a 10 for you and a 10 for the product and a 10 for the company. Hey, look, if you met me 6 months ago, you'd already got 50 grand. Would you be concerned that this would work for you and do what you needed to do? No, I wouldn't be. I'd be fine. Exactly. But let's cut to the heart of the matter. You don't really know me. We don't have a long-standing relationship where you have a lot of trust. You don't know if I am going to be able to do exactly what I say I'm going to do. So let me tell you this. And then that's when you're going to go into a 10 with all three, okay? A 10 can be, but let me tell you this. First of all, you're able to get all this money without a personal guarantee. I'm concerned about keeping your family's finances safe. You should be too. That's your primary driver. You told me that the whole reason you're doing this is to have more time to spend with your family, so let's keep them safe. That's important to me. That's what the product does for you. For me, I've dedicated my life to helping people like you succeed, okay? This is it. Just because we make the sale doesn't mean I'm gone away. I'm still here. I'm still going to call you regularly to follow up, and I expect you to do the same. We got to stay in touch because this only works for me if you refer other people. That's the only way it makes sense. And as of my company, if you've done any research, I mean, we got an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Now I went through, since I don't know what their objection is, I just told them something about me, the company, and the product that should bring them to a level 10 for all three. Then I go in with an attempt and try to close the sale again. Okay, deflect. Listen, I hear what you're saying. And then go back to the looping process again. I hear what you're saying, but let me say this. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but let me say this. If I already got you the $50,000 Amazon card that alone could fund your entire business, you'd probably be pretty happy with me, right? Yeah, okay, but that hasn't happened yet. So again, this opens up the door for you to come back in and overcome the three objections. Bring a credibility point to you, credibility point to the company, credibility point to the product. Start reselling yourself and your company and the product. Heavy artillery. The more of these you overcome, the more things you're telling them that this can do for them that you haven't told them, or reminding them of things you have told them. And again, tailor it to the objection, and acknowledge that they have the objection, and tailor your close to the objection as well. So look, what is their objection? Their objection is, I don't think it'll work for me. I don't have the money. What is their objection right now? Okay, so then you've got to tailor the objection to that. Look, if you got you $50,000 already, you'd probably find a way to come up with the $2,000. Am I right? So you're referencing it back to their actual initial objection here. So believe me, all I ask is when you get your first $20,000 in financing and start making more revenue as a result, go buy your wife a little present because I'm sure she deserves it. Sound fair enough? That's a great objection. Or it's a great way to overcome the my spouse objection. Well, I don't know. Look. You say this, even if they won't tell you their spouse is the issue, that probably one of their underlying concerns is that they're going to go home and look like a fool. So turn it around. Hey, when you get $20,000, go buy your wife a nice gift. Actually, she's going to thank you for doing this, not hold it against you, is basically what you're indirectly saying. Okay, stop talking. The first person who talks loses. So there's a lot of these that you could do. Now, one of the most powerful closes is to ask, what is the worst that can happen? For example, look, let's say you get this finance meet. Let's say I'm totally wrong. And you don't get any money or credit at all, nothing. You don't get anything out of this. Would that put you out of business? Would it put you in the poorhouse? Really, honestly, would you go out of business because you invested in this and weren't able to get any money out of it? I love this. This is probably one of the most powerful ways to close a sale. Bring somebody all the way to worst case scenario. They're making all kinds of crazy crap up in their head. It's insane. Like, what's going on in the movie in their head? Like, you have driven a tow truck through their house and taken their entire family with you and will never be seen. It is so drastic of a scenario they're painting in their head of bad things that can happen. Break it down to what can really happen. How bad is this? How bad is this really? Let's see what can really happen. 1, you pay money. And 2, you get no result. Isn't that really the worst thing that can really happen? No tow truck through the house, no taking your family with them. Just you spent money and you didn't get the result. That's the worst case. Isn't that realistically the worst case? And if that absolute drastic worst case happened, then what would happen to you? You broke, you bankrupt, you homeless, you living on the street, you got to sell your car. Say this stuff. It's a joke. It's almost like they laugh. What does that mean? Are you on the street? Are you homeless? You have to sell your house? You have to sell your car? You have to move to get like a Pinto? Remember those old Pintos? You get one of those Pinto? And they laugh. They're like, you just made light of the worst thing that can happen. Honestly, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is you spend money and don't get the result, right? But even then, that's not going to put you in the poorhouse. What's the best thing that can happen? It actually works. What's going to happen with the 50 grand? I know, you already told me you're going to do X, A, B, C, D. It's going to result in all these things. That's the good that can happen. What's the bad? You're out some money, no big deal. Okay. And by the way, there's nothing that shows that can happen. I have testimonials from tons of people that have for success. We never had any kind of complaints to justify any of that would ever happen. So again, you're coming in and overcoming the objections, but what's the worst that can happen is a really good way to do it. Start building a powerful future pace case. Create a picture in the mind of massive benefits from doing business with you, enjoying home with the family, having your business become a massive success, being able to have the home, lifestyle, car, business, team of your dreams. That's the picture you have to paint. Remember, people buy when they have more to lose by not buying than they do by buying. It's what it comes down to. What you have to do is paint an entire picture that your life will look like crap if you don't get the money you need to be able to do what you need to do, and your life will look completely rosy if you do get the money you need to do, and this is the way to get the money. It's that simple. So you got to paint that picture in their mind. Now, remember, by now, through the interview and presentation, you should have found out what their real why is. You should already figured out what their real purpose is, what real pain they're trying to get away from, what they really want out of their life, and why they're doing what they do. If you have that ammunition, then it's so much easier to do this because you know the things that are actually important to them. It's easier for you to continue to paint that picture. Remember, the massive benefits don't just include the benefits of the finance suite. Let them know how else you can help them. What other services do you offer? Are you an accountant? Are you an attorney? Are you a credit bureau? What other areas of their life can you help them? You want to bring those in as well and talk to them. So box them in. It's also effectively to box the client in because you undermine their two cornerstone beliefs. I don't buy from people and companies I don't know and trust. I don't buy unless the risk-reward ratio is heavily weighted in my favor. Look, that's how people basically indirectly think. I'm not going to buy something from somebody that I don't believe to be credible, okay? And I'm not going to buy unless I have more to win than I do to lose, right? I have more reward than I do to have risk. The client will never say this to you, but I mean, it is ultimately what they're thinking. So asking what's the worst thing that could ever happen disrupts the pattern of thinking and inserts a new one that lowers his threshold for buying. That's what it comes down to. You're taking those crazy scenarios out of their head and you're saying, what's the worst thing that can happen? You spend money, you don't get the result, right? You're not in the poorhouse, you're not on the street, you're not homeless. And so all of a sudden they're like, well, the end result isn't as bad as I thought it could be. If the client says they have to speak with their partner or accountant, go back into another loop. Say, listen, I understand you have to speak to your partner, but the beauty of this program is, dude, again, 10 for you, 10 for company, 10 for product, something that about the company or you and the product that puts you all at a level 10. And then position it as a sort of decision they don't need to talk to their partner about. Look, do me a favor. When you get the 50 grand from the business, go buy your partner something cool. You ever heard of a Montblanc pen? Buy him a $500 Montblanc pen. Buy him one with a diamond in it, okay, as the reward for you getting the capital and growing the sales. You're the hero. You're the hero in that story. Again, that's the way. Now, maybe they do need to talk to the partner. If they do, I'm cool with that. First of all, you probably shouldn't be trying to close somebody where you don't have a decision maker on the phone to begin with. That's bad. But if it comes down to it, it comes down to it. But again, telling them, why talk to the partner? Why are they talking to the partner? It's simple. Because they don't want to make a decision and look stupid if it doesn't work out. That's what it comes down to. But if you can paint the picture that they're going to go and look like a hero to their partner because they found something the partner never knew existed and they found a solution to the problem, well, then all of a sudden it changes everything, right? If you have a picture painted in your mind that you're going to walk into your partner and look like a hero because you found this crazy cool thing that could help both of you guys that they didn't know about, you look like a hero. If you could paint that picture versus the one that they're going to look like a shum for making a bad decision, then you're already in the process of winning. So looping is an essential part of the presentation that involves, again, as we talk about going backwards to resell the client on you, the product and company, uses specific language patterns to move the client closer to the sale. So here's some loops as example of what we have. Does the idea of getting access to high limit business credit accounts make sense to you? Do you like that idea? Well, let me say this. The Finance Suite can not only help you get money with no other finance option can, but you also saving over $2,000 from doing it yourself because you're getting things like your DUNS number and your 411 listing. And plus, we save you over $2,200 annually on credit monitoring. So you can basically work with us for our team with the same investment as doing it on your own. And you're getting this from us, a highly reputable company. You can look and easily see that we have a perfect reputation with all consumer agencies, including the Secretary of State, and A+ to the Better Business Bureau, 0 lifetime complaints, and all other federal agencies. And again, so what have we done? The first paragraph was about the product, right? Hey, the product saves you all this money. Second one, all about me, the company's reputation. Now it's all about me. And I'm also still available to help you when you enroll. Don't get me wrong, our advising team does a phenomenal job, but my personal success relies on you having success and being happy. So I really want to ensure you're successful with this. See what we did, 3 paragraphs. 10 for the company. We started with the 10 for the product. Okay, the Finance Suite can not only help you get money, You're getting money from us, highly reputable company, 10 for the company, 10 for you. Then when you're swimming in credit and growing your business, I know you're going to want to tell your friends and family about me. That's more about why they should want to do business with you. Look, I can get you, and now we're going in for another attempt to close. This is what a loop looks like. A loop says, okay, look, the idea makes sense to you. Okay, then let me say this. The idea makes sense to you, then let me say this. 10 for my company. The product does these things. Don't know if you knew that. Don't know if we talked about that. My reputation, 10 for my reputation, 10 for me. Then we go in for another close attempt. I can get you set up today with full access to your own Finance Suite. You can then start getting approved and having access to money within days. Okay, I can get you started right now. It's just a matter of a little basic information to complete your enrollment. You can get access to your own Finance Suite. So sound fair enough? Okay, so now we're coming in for another attempt to actually close. Okay, so here's another one. Look, I hear what you're saying, but let me say this. If you had access to our Finance Suite over 6 months ago and were approved for 50 grand already, you probably wouldn't be hesitating to get started. Am I right? Yeah, obviously. But you really don't know me. Okay, sidebar, now I'm 10 for me. So I don't have the luxury of a track record for you. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've dedicated my life to helping clients like you access the cash, credit, and capital needed to grow your business, even when the banks say no. I deeply want you to have the access to the money you want so you can take your company to the next level. I really want to be part in making that happen. That's my reward, is when my clients are texting me the results that they're actually getting. It makes me feel awesome. Okay, 10 for me. And as far as my company goes, 10 for company, we have more access to cash and capital than any other company because we deal with all types of financing, where most sources only deal with one type. And we're the only source you'll find that offers both business credit and loans in one place, helping you get more money. Now we move to the product. And your Finance Suite's constantly updated with all the new and best sources of cash and capital. So when new financing opportunities open up, you'll be the first to know about them and have immediate access. 10 for, right? You see the process. It's the same loop. So we're coming through, we can 10 for me, 10 for company, 10 for product, then we come to close again. I can get just a little bit of basic information if you now have full access to your Finance Suite within an hour. Sound fair enough? They're going to say, yeah, let's do this. Or they're going to come up with another objection, okay? Third loop. Okay, I understand exactly what you're saying. Remember, this is the only system in the world where you can get business credit regardless of your personal credit and help and get qualified for financing. It's the only solution that integrates with the Experience Smart Business. This system, how truly credible the Finance Suite is, or now that would be NAV. And my company's been open for 5 years with no customer complaints, but tons of customer praise and how much money and credit we've helped them obtain. We actually ranked 5 stars with Trustpilot, the leading online review site. I can even send you a link to testimonials so you can hear other business owners' positive experiences. Okay, so far we went through, we talked about the products, we talked about the company, now we talk about myself. Okay, I don't always offer clients monthly payments, but I really like you a lot. I know the Finance Suite's perfect for your business, which is why I did it. So with payments, you can have full access to your Finance Suite to get access to credit you need and pay over time. That just shows how perfect I know this will be for you. And there's no way I would have you pay over several months unless I knew this was a perfect fit for you. Within an hour, you can be on your way to accessing more credit financing you ever had before. Let me get a little bit of information, get you started. That's what a loop looks like. You can create your own. You can use ours. Doesn't matter. But that's what a loop looks like. And 10 for you, 10 for the company, 10 for the product, attempt to close again. This is how you answer questions. This is how you overcome objections. Power words. Okay, these are such minimizers, justifiers, reframers that you can use. Short, simple words and phrases that have a powerful effect. Virtually allows you to make bold claims without speaking in absolutes. I can't stand it when people say, I'm the best. Everyone, virtually every person sounds better than every person, right? Because if you tell me every person has success, I know you're lying. Every person doesn't. But putting virtually in front of it doesn't make it as definitive. It also protects you from a legal standpoint. For example, you wouldn't tell a client, all my clients make money. One, the client wouldn't believe you. Two, it isn't true. So virtually kind of allows you that leeway. Okay, only is a great minimizer, right? When you ask for an order, include a dollar amount. Look, it's only this much. It's only 7 payments of $597, for example. It's a minimizer, okay? It's only $39.95. Sounds a lot more reasonable than it costs $39.95. I can't stand the word cost at all. And I think we'll probably come up with some alternatives to that as we go through with power words. Because is a justifier. Believe it or not, outside of your name, because is ranked the most beloved word in the human language. Little known fact, provides a reason that causes people to think differently about what you're asking. Use because when you need to justify what you're asking for. Example is the Caldini copy machine, right? And if you don't know that experiments, what they found was that they had people standing in line for a copy machine, and what they found was that if somebody went up and said, I need to cut in line because, if anything that followed that, the person had a greater statistical probability of letting the person cut in line just because they used the word because. And it was crazy. They would be like, hey, can you let me cut in line because I'm in a hurry? Or will you let me cut in line because I don't want to be back in the bottom of the line? No matter what the because was, the experiment actually showed that people were more responsive. So a lot of stuff around the word because that works very well. Investment's a reframer, right? It gets rid of cost. I don't use the word cost anymore. Even when I'm talking to people that are selling me stuff. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Megan today about something, a product that we're using or something we're using to improve the entire experience of all of our customers. And that was what I said. I said, what's our investment in this? I no longer look at things as a cost, because are they really? If I'm putting money into something that's going to make me more money, that's what's called an investment. And Megan and I are a little different on this. Megan thinks that investment sounds scammy. Not me. I think of things really as an investment now, and it started on my sales side because I never referred to it as it's going to cost you this, because it doesn't cost them anything. It's them investing in their future. So investment. Okay, hold your hand every step of the way. Okay, show you the ins and outs of how it works. Huge upside with little downside. Incredibly easy to get started. In-depth training program. It's a long-term relationship. It's surefire. Paint by numbers. These are some really good phrases that you can use that elaborate more on how the product can actually help them. So believe me is a powerful closing pattern. Believe me. Look, if you do even half as much as the rest of the people that I've helped with this program, you're going to be very, very, very happy. Believe me. Not as much big on this, but it is one that can actually work for you pretty good. Your wife will be kissing you when you walk through the door. Remember, I love that graphic that he put on the bottom there. It's pretty funny. Remember, they're concerned that they're going to make a bad decision. When they want to talk to somebody, that's what the fear is. They're afraid that they're going to make a bad decision and that person's going to scorn them, right? I don't know if any of you that are married have ever made a mistake where your spouse kind of was like, I told you so. I don't know. It does happen. I've had my wife maybe do that once or twice in the 16 years we've been together. It happens. That's what they're trying to get away from. I don't want another circumstance where my wife says, I told you. And you're like, I know, you were right. That's what people are trying to avoid. So turn it around on them. Your wife will be kissing you when you walk through the door, okay? Your wife is going to go buy your wife something nice. Address that objection as if she's going to be rewarded. Kids' school. If you do this, you'll be sending your kids to the finest schools, okay? That's a priority, okay, for a lot of people. So that's a powerful motion. I'm not getting rich here. Look, this is very effective for getting referrals and building long-term relationships. I'm not getting rich here, but I know you're going to do really well with our program, and that could net me a lot of referrals. Okay, so that's one you can use. If you do even half as well as the rest of the people that have gone through this program, etc. Okay, all I ask is if you give me one shot, I promise you'll be very, very impressed. The only problem you'll have is I didn't call you 6 months ago and get you started then. Believe me, you will not be sorry. Sound fair enough? These are all fantastic terms that you can use that will help you get the prospect closer to the sale. Look, all I ask is give me one shot here. If you make the first monthly payment and it doesn't work like you think, then cancel it. You're out, what, $700? So you cancel the thing if it doesn't work for you, okay? All I ask is that you give me a shot. Look, if you have half the results as my other clients, then you're going to be flipping out. Okay, even half of the results that they get. So these are some ways that you can use these terms which can help you as well. Does it make sense to you? Tonality is essential. Ask in a calm way. Look, does the idea make sense to you? Do you like the idea? The true beauty of this is this. You see, the true beauty of the program is that it offers this benefit. Okay, if I'd been your financial and credit advisor for the last 3 years helping you get money and credit, then you wouldn't be saying, let me think it over right now. Am I right? Okay, I use this a lot, and I tell people, I said, look, if we'd been working with you 6 months ago, you'd already have the money you need to grow your business. And something we throw in that's very true. Do you know how many people I talk to 6, 7, 9, 12 months later, and their words are, man, I should have done this 6, 9, 12 months ago. I'm exactly where I was when I first talked to you. Don't be that person. Don't be the person that takes no action. You go out, you get no results, and 7 months later, you're showing up and you just blew 7 months worth of time you could have been building your company. Okay, so those are some good ones too. Again, tonality is key there. As far as my company goes, again, we've talked about that as well as transitioning into a 10 for your company. I pride myself on doing that. I plan on being the top producer. I pride myself on only helping people I know I can help. I pride myself in helping business owners get to the next level, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. What we can do for you besides this one transaction, okay? So again, if you can help them with credit repair, an accountant, an attorney, what else can you do beyond just this transaction to be able to actually help them? What's the worst that could possibly happen? I'm telling you, no matter what you sell, even outside of the finance suite, use this today. Just trust me, use it and see what happens. It is so powerful. Because again, people are running these insane movies in their head. And then when you can just minimize it to what really is going down, you spend money and you don't get a result. Really? What's the worst that happens? Then you almost make light of it. Are you homeless? Are you on the street? Are you driving a Pinto versus the car you have? Do you have to sell the house? I mean, and then when you make light of it, they're like, yeah, all right, that can't really be that big of a deal, okay? We can start off small. Just a small payment. Just pay monthly. Look, I'm not going to let you pay me over 5 to 7 months if this wasn't going to work. I'd be crazy, right? If I was selling you something that wouldn't work, I wouldn't sell you anything and let you pay over 7 months' time. I'd try to get all the money up front, but I'm letting you pay over 7 months because I want us to start off small. Let's start off small, okay? So those are things. I understand what you're saying. Look, I understand what you're saying. Again, a good way to also say this is to rephrase what they're saying. Look, I understand what you're saying. Or, so what you're saying is this, rephrase what they're saying. That lets them know that you've actually listened to what they've had to say. Okay, it's very important. If the client still wants to think about it after several loops, we'll get a little stronger with your tonality. Look, I understand what you're saying. But let me say this: there are 3 things there are 3 things in our business. Every factor is in your favor, and I don't even know what any of that means. That doesn't even make sense. So what I'm saying basically here is that just get stronger. Look, I understand what you're saying, but let me say this, and then again, come back into the 3 10s. Okay, about you, the customer, about you, the product, and the actual company. Use scarcity and urgency. Take it away from them. Again, they have something to lose by not doing it. And again, that's a very, very, very powerful motivator if it's something that they actually want. Getting started is very simple. Again, this is a good way to lead into actual attempts to close. Look, getting started is super simple. But then let them know what happens at the end. Look, getting started is super simple. It's just a matter of just get a little bit of basic information. I can get you set up. Then you get an email and immediately you get access to your finance suite. As a matter of fact, your advisor is probably going to be calling you today. You're already probably going to be making it through the steps by the end of the day. It's very simple to get started. Great segue into that. So tonality for closing. Getting started is very simple. If you do half as well, total certainty, right? You got to have certainty here. Look, getting started is really simple. Look, if you do half as well as my other clients, that's coming in with a total certainty tonality. You're going to be very impressed. Utter certainty. Sound fair enough? Reasonable? I'm reasonable. That makes sense? Sound fair enough? Okay, listen twice as much as you speak. Run specific patterns, these loops that we've talked about. End with a great future picture of what life is going to look like for them once it's done. When you have the house, you will do this. When you get the money and you do these things, remember, you're going to have more time to spend with your family on vacation, okay? Follow a script. We've given you a script. If you actually go in Two, section 4 in your training, there's the script we actually use for the interview. I've taught you how to actually do it. We've even got a script there that has closing and looping and stuff like that for you as well. Scripts are important because the majority of communication is tonality, and you can't focus on tonality if you're focusing on what words to say. The other reason scripts are important is because if your closing percentage ever drops, or your closing numbers drop, you need to know why. If everybody's saying the same thing all the time, then that helps you know that it's not a script issue. So there's a lot of benefits of scripts. This is why we provide one and why our team uses one as well. Record your calls and presentations, very important, especially if you have sales team, because your sales team is going to screw all this up and you're going to wonder why they're not closing sales. And then when that happens, which it will, then I ask you to do one thing. Play back the recording of their call. And what will happen is within seconds, you will say this, oh, that's it. And that oh means you get it. You know why the sale was lost. You know what to fix. You're only going to do this if you actually listen to their calls and you listen to their presentation. And always ask why they don't buy. Always. If they're not buying, ask why. Look, like, I don't know, this isn't for me. Look, and this is one that our team does a great job of overcoming this objection. Look, I'm not ready right now, maybe in a month. What's going to change? What do you mean? What's going to change? I mean, you get started now. In a month, you'll already be getting $5,000 plus credit cards. You already be well on your way. So what's going to change in your life from now to 30 days from now where this is going to be better opportunity for you 30 days? I'm curious. And you know what they're going to say? They don't know what to say. Because the truth is, it's probably an affordability objection. And the reality is that a month's not going to give you more money. The truth is you have a problem. You need money to grow the business. If you wait a month, you know what's going to happen? You're still going to need money to grow the business, or you could have already been started in getting the money you need to grow the business. So a month isn't going to change. So again, I always ask why they don't buy in those kind of cases. Now, again, as we've talked about before, this is our 8-step process. We do an initial phone call to try to make contact. We put them into a sales funnel. If we can't make contact, we have setters reach out to them. We get them into the presentation. We do the follow-up and Q&A, the overcome the objection I've talked about today. We then nurture and follow up with them till they buy. And then we also close the sale and retain them. We stay with them after the sale. We found that all these things are important, but it really does boil down to 3 things. But this is our process, which is a little bit more elaborate. And we focus on retention by giving them gifts and all kinds of things after the fact. So we can then make sure that they stay and continue to pay. So as I wrap up, don't forget, we've got a Premier Partner program where all this is handled for you, okay? Premier Partner, it's done for you. We do the entire sales process for you. Saves you a bunch of time not prospecting and selling. Now, this is going to change. To send a customer over, what you're going to do right now is go to lead@creditsuite.com. Lead@creditsuite.com, simple email. But in the very near future, you're going to add a customer that you're referring over just like you do a normal customer under the add customer section of your back office. If you want to learn more about it, go to creditsuite.com/premier, and it will show you the process when that process changes. So remember, when we're doing it for you, you don't need to present, you don't need a funnel, you don't need to hire extra salespeople, you don't need to spend time or set up websites or build trust online or get reviews or train a sales team or set up automation or master presenting. It's all done for you. Like, we do it. You refer the person, we do all the work, and we pay you $750 to $1,500 depending on how much they pay us per sale. It's basically done for you versus do it yourself. Not to say you should do this, saying it's an option. Sometimes as our partners get started, they're scared about presenting and closing. So we do it until they get their feet wet, practice enough, then they take it over. Some of our partners start doing their own sales, then they get so busy that then they just have us do it. There's a million uses for this, but just keep in mind Premier Partners design where all the work is done for you to make it easy for you to do. And it also helps you save money, because when you're getting started with selling business credit, you got things like setters and sales teams and CRMs and websites and phone systems and merchant fees. This stuff adds up. It literally can be thousands of dollars and hundreds of dollars a month to set these things up, which is fine when you're generating a ton of sales. But if you're not there yet, then us doing all the work for you can get you profits, nothing but profit coming in without any of these expenses you need to generate the actual profit. And you can earn up to $1,500 a sale. How much you earn? It's pretty simple. Whatever we sell it for, we basically give you 25% of the sales price. It really boils down to what we're really doing is just basically splitting profits with you pretty much even. So you're basically making up to $1,500 a sale. You can make $750 on core. If they're coming in on the top level program, you can make $1,500. So you're making somewhere between $750 and $1,500, and it's all profit. If you're an executive member, then you're still getting paid 50% of the funding. And if you're not, you can still earn 25% of the funding. So again, perfect solution until you get comfortable presenting. Not a solution you have to take. It's completely free for you, but there's options here. Remember, you can go through, interview, present, and close on your own. That is what our partner program is. You can get through, interview, present, or have us help you close, and on three-way call. We'll do that with you too. Or third, we just do it for you. You just refer the customer. We do all the work. You just take the commission. So plenty of options to make sure that there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to make money with business credit. And remember, you can still make about the same money. Because if you take the expenses you have, CRM and sales team commissions and all that stuff out, then you stand to make a lot less until you start making more sales. So in the beginning stages, since you can make up to $1,500, you can actually even make more using our credibility as your secret weapon, using our sales funnel, using our sales team, using our setters. So it just basically uses everything that we've built to just make it easier for you to actually do, which means you just convert leads at a higher percentage and convert them faster. Customers pay longer because of our retention campaign, which means more commissions for you. And this can actually help you make more sales because more leads even convert through time with our sales funnel. It just comes down to more money for you. Again, it's all about choices. What we found is that some of our partners are afraid to present, don't have time to train, but they still have leads coming in the door. So Premier Partner just gives you a way to have those leads taken care of. We do all the work and you still earn a bunch of money in commissions while you're getting set up and comfortable. If you're already set up and comfortable, do your own sales. You need help, let us help you close the sale. We'll get on a three-way call and we'll help. And if you ever reach a point where you just want us to do the work, we can, or you reach a point to where we're doing the work and you want to take it back and do it on your own, we'll help you with that. Just know that there should be no barrier here. Anything you need help with to close the sale, we will help you with, whether we do it all, whether you do it, whether we help you do it, any of those options will work. The end goal here is just that you get the intended result, that you just make the sale. So I want to make sure that you know about Premier Partner so you know that that option is available for you. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and answer any questions that you actually may have. So if you have any questions, go ahead and get them typed in. Wesley, great, man. Thanks for coming in. I haven't seen you in a while. Are these slides available somewhere? Ron, yes, I will get them available in the same place that that this video will be in the live training webinar section. I don't know how to do it, but I'll get with my development team, I'll get it done. So probably tomorrow when this goes live, I will make sure that they have this download, this webinar, this PowerPoint available as a download with the webinar so you can use it. So I will make sure get that done. Any other questions? Go ahead and type them in. So guys, now you understand the entire process of closing a sale. We talked about interviewing. We've talked about ways to present. We've talked about closing. We've talked about you doing it on your own. We've talked about how we can help you do it. We've talked about how we can do it for you. So there's really no barrier that should stand in your way because you have multiple ways to get this done to still earn commissions on business credit financing. And we've mapped out now over the course of 3-hour-long trainings exactly the process that our sales team uses. We've looked at scripts, we've looked at loops that we use to overcome objections. You are now 100% empowered and armed with what you need to take steps to move forward and be successful with offering business credit financing. And again, along the way, feel free to reach out to us. There's now a contact us tab in your finance suite, bottom left. You can click and get to our support team. You can get to our advising team. You can get to our billing team. Any of our teams right there, and you can always click chat in your suite to engage with this as well. And that being said, oh wait, this is great nuggets and reminders on closing. Ron, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Can I rewatch the webinar? All webinars are always available for replay. Typically the next day they're put up in your back office. Your home page always has the most recent last webinar we've done. And then if you go to Partner Resources Live Training, live webinars, then that'll take you to the playback as well. How can I start to get involved more? David, give us a ring. Actually reach out to us right now, support@creditsuite.com, support@creditsuite.com. We'll reach out and talk to you a little bit more. Again, the question becomes what's holding you back? if you're not involved more, what part of it are you getting hung up on? Again, Premier Partner, we do a lot of the work for you, so it's a way for you to get involved and make a lot more money without having to do a lot of the work. If time is a barrier, if time isn't a barrier, then get with support at creditsuite.com or go into your finance suite and call support on our number under the Contact Us tab for support. And then let us help you. Let us talk to you about what's in your way barrier-wise so we can help remove that barrier and help you get more involved. We'd love to absolutely do that. Is a script for specifically converting the lead into back office? Yes, it is. It's in section 4 of your partner training. Partner resources, partner basic training, it is in step 4, is the main script right there. Ty, can I get my free 30 minutes? Absolutely. Janella, if you get with the person that actually brought you in, Lane, Dave, whoever it was that helped you enroll, then they have a coaching intake form, and they'll get you that coaching intake form, and we'll get you that done. Okay, so I don't see any of the questions. Thank you. Perfect. I look forward to talking with you. So I don't have any other questions. I'm going to wrap this up. Remember, you can go to contact us, contact our support team. Our support team is awesome. They will help you succeed. Okay, Heather runs our support team. She is like crazy cool. I love Heather. She's so awesome. And she will take very good care of you and help you close more sales. So let us help you. And again, don't forget about Premier Partner. Don't forget about us helping you close sales. Don't forget about the live training webinars and the partner basic training that can also help you become comfortable to make sales on your own. All those are resources that will help you succeed along this area. So if you have any other questions, reach out to us, support at creditsuite.com. No other questions. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Now you know how to interview, present, and close the sale. And in the weeks to come, there's a lot more cool topics we'll be talking about, including marketing, growing your business, and a lot of other cool things I know you're going to enjoy. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day. And if you need anything, let us know. Support at creditsuite.com.